Hey guys, we are continuing our series Love Southport as we talk about and think about what it means to love our community. When I was 19, I started university in Liverpool, and having grown up in Liverpool all my life, I knew Liverpool was the best place in the world. And they must have thought it was alright, seeing that they decided to come to uni to study here for 3 years. But something stood out to me when I began to spend time with more people who weren't from Liverpool. People thought bad things about Scousers, people who were born in Liverpool. Like, I'd tell people whereabouts in Liverpool I was from, and then people would mock me and saying nothing good ever came from that place, and that the place was really rough. And as I heard people badmouth the people in the city of Liverpool, I became really passionate about my community. Instead of saying bad things back, I decided that I was going to represent my city well and give everyone a good first impression of Liverpool. Having moved up to Southport, I still love Liverpool, but there's nothing I want more than for people to have a good impression of Southport. There's something important about being involved and being a part of communities and then representing them well. And this is why we are doing this series called Love Southport, because loving our community starts with us. And as we think about this, we're going to be focusing on 3 words, what I shared with you last week. They are love, serve, give. And the first one we're going to be thinking about is love. And as I started, I shared from my love for Liverpool. I became passionate about it. I became an ambassador, a representative for my city. And I wanted people to think about good things when they thought about Liverpool. And I would share about how incredible a place it is. I would learn the history, the culture, and share that with other people. My aim was to show people that Liverpool was an amazing place rather than a terrible place like they might have heard. Some of you might be thinking that's all well and good, but I'm not too sure I like my community. Some of you might be thinking that's all well and good, but I'm not too sure I like my community. Does this even matter? Why should I care what other people think about Southport? Or even, where does this love fit into any of this? It's not a new concept or thought that people don't like people from a certain area, or that a place has a certain connotation. Even when we look at the Bible, which was written thousands of years ago, we see people hating on others because of where they are from and the rivals that cause assumptions. And we're going to read a part of John's Gospel, a record written by a guy called John who spent time with Jesus. Because of what he saw, he wrote it all down for us to read today. And it says, the next day Jesus decided to leave from Galilee. Finding Philip, he said to him, "Follow me." Philip, like Andrew and Peter, was from the town of Bethesda. And Philip found Nathanael and told him, "We have found the one that Moses wrote about in the law, and about whom the prophets also wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph." Nazareth? Can anything good come from there? Nathanael asked. "Come and see," said Philip. And when Jesus saw Nathanael approaching, he said of him, "He truly is an Israelite in whom there is no deceit." "How do you know me?" Nathanael asked. And Jesus answered, "I saw you while you were still under the fig tree before Philip called you." Then Nathanael declared, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God, you are the King of Israel." And Jesus said, "You believe because I told you I saw you under the fig tree. You will see greater things than that." He then added, "Very truly I tell you, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man." As we read this, we see the words Nazareth. Can anything good come from Nazareth? And people might be thinking the area you are from is like Nazareth, a place where no good can come from, somewhere that others might look down upon. And Nathanael and Philip both lived in a local rival village from Jesus, and their assumptions would be nothing famous or good can come from that little village out there. They'd come from the city or an important place like Jerusalem. But Philip encourages them and said, "Come and see." There's something about this Jesus person that will change your mind in this place, but you can also change your mind about everything. And what we read is that this conversation with Jesus becomes life-changing. As Nathanael is approaching Jesus, he speaks to him, explaining that he'd seen him under a fig tree. And Jesus was explaining something that he could only know through supernatural means. And when Nathanael heard this, he knew that Jesus was the Son of God, and he was invited on a journey to see more. I just want you to draw out a couple of points from one character in this story, and then we can think about how we can apply this to our lives. And that guy's Philip. Philip responded to the call, and when Jesus asked him to follow him, he did. And later on in Philip's life, we see that he continues to follow Jesus as one of his disciples. And after Jesus' death and his resurrection and ascension, we see Philip again continuing to follow Jesus. Even when his life is on the line, people are being killed because of the fact that they follow Jesus. But Philip is so convinced with what he had seen and the person of Jesus, he followed him all the days of his life. Secondly, Philip invited others. The first thing Philip did as a follower of Jesus was to go and find Nathanael, so he could go and also be a follower of Jesus too. Paul, a follower of Jesus much later in the story, wrote many letters to churches, said love compels us. Our love for others compels us to share what we've seen, the person we've met, the truth we've learned, that Jesus is Lord. And because we love other people, we need to tell the world this message, because this can change people's lives. And Philip's love for Nathanael compelled him to share this incredible news to someone else. Even if they might not like where they are from, he'll change the assumption. To love our community, it requires us to become evangelists to our communities. Like Philip, he shared Jesus with others, but he didn't allow a negative perception of a place distract us from what he really matters. Over this next week, I believe this is a challenge to show love to those around us. Love can take on many forms, but love requires action, and we can't stand on the sidelines. Philip took Nathanael to Jesus. It might mean we need to share our experience of Jesus with our friends in school, ask people if they need prayer, or practically sit with them and include them. As we begin this new term, let's make a decision to use this year as an opportunity to invite others to get to know Jesus more. So I dare you, if you are a Christian, choose one friend who you could pray for this term. And as you pray for them, pray that you'll have opportunities to tell them about what you know about Jesus, your experiences of him. And if you're not a Christian, ask someone, maybe someone in the room or a parent, ask them to introduce you to this person who can change your life. Love your community. Philip and Nathanael were able to oversee the rivalry and the perception so many other people missed when they met Jesus. In fact, when Jesus went back to the area, he said, a prophet is never honoured in their own town. And because Jesus was from that area, they had seen him grow up, many of the people rejected him. They couldn't get over the fact that he was from there and he didn't seem special enough. But we need to learn to love people from where we are from, because when we do, we begin to see God move, and we will have eyes that are more attentive to what God is up to. And I don't just mean in Southport, but God wants to be working in your schools, in your activities, amongst your friends. But we've got to love these places enough to trust God will show up in them. Whether it's Southport, Liverpool, Ormskirk, can anything good come from there? Our answer is yes. God can use each of these places, and he wants to do something in these places too.